Hello, my friends, and welcome to the next video in the Create Better Content series, where I teach you how to tap into your creativity so that you never run out of content ideas again. My name is Penny, and I'm your guide, and I'm actually the developer of this unique creative content development process. And I want to teach you how to create more engaging content to post and more remarkable content to share in your marketing messages, and all of these things combined to help you reach more qualified customers. So if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box, you're going to see a couple of links. The first link that you're going to see is for my book called I Just Did a Thing. And in this, I go into the detail about the science behind why tapping into your creativity helps. It'll explain to you the whole reasons why I've even started this whole YouTube channel, to share with you that when you tap into that right brain side, when you tap into your creativity, it helps you with your content creation, and the book will show you how it can help you make some big changes in your business and your life. And the second link that you're going to see is so that you can subscribe and join us in the Create Your Business program, and you can personally go through this process of developing remarkable content, and you can do it in a supportive group online space. It's amazing to see what can happen to your marketing strategy when you experience these creative activities and when you work with other like-minded business owners instead of just trying to do this all by yourself. So today's video, I am talking about one of the most frequently asked questions that I get all the time. They ask me, how do I stay consistent with posting my marketing? Wow. There's a whole lot to answer with that. And I've actually touched on this before. There's a lot of videos that I have done talking about staying consistent because I get it. It is so tough to come up with new content ideas every week. And for most of us, it's even harder to put those plans and those ideas into a strategy and actually produce it and post that content online. So let's get into this today, because there are so many pieces and parts to what it takes to being consistent. And I want to focus on one of the main pieces of that process that's going to help you not just do more and be more effective with your time, but actually stay on track to reach your goals. So let's jump into this whole thing. Because when it comes to being consistent, I know that you know. I don't have to sit here and tell you all of the benefits about being consistent, and you already know that. You need to be producing fresh content on a regular basis. But I got to tell you, for most of us small business owners, we struggle with having enough time just to get it all done. And then we add in the fact that we are supposed to be producing and creating all of this amazing fresh content. It just, that's that point where we're like, I just don't know what I'm going to do. So I end up doing my client project instead of doing my own marketing. And the next thing we know, we haven't posted anything in like a week. So what's the thing that we need to be thinking about? Because here's the thing, my friends. Because if you're going to try to produce content, especially producing content without a plan, you're going to find yourself being reactive instead of being proactive with your marketing. Because I know this. I know, because I totally hear this all the time, especially when I meet when I'm first meeting with a client, and they think that they can produce all of this quality content and stay consistent, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna, pop out a few blog posts this month, and then I will, share this on Facebook, and then I'm gonna put this on Instagram, and then I'm gonna make this stuff on TikTok. But that's not the case. That is not how we stay consistent, and that, quite honestly, is not really a content plan. Because a content plan also including time to research, to manage the plan, to modify the plan, to write the content, to publish the content, to create the content, to post it, and all of these things. There's so many steps that go into creating content and making sure that we are being consistent. And so I went through this whole process, and I talked through all of the major pieces and parts, and I'm going to put the link below. And I did a video on that about how to create a month's worth of content ideas in less than a day. I'll put that video episode below. And I talked a lot about content calendars, and I talked a lot about getting organized, and I talked a lot about your plan. But to make any of those steps stay consistent and work for you and your schedule, you also need to start adding something called content batching into your content creation process. Because content batching is going to be that piece that's going to help you stay organized, and it's going to keep you efficient. It's going to help you be able to publish content on a regular schedule without having to worry about any last minute rushes or missed deadlines or anything that you thought you're doing, especially like if you're launching a product and you were supposed to have these sales posts out there and the next thing you know it's 3 days away and you haven't done anything. This content batching idea is what is going to help you, because obviously it's going to help you save time and energy, but it's going to allow you to take your time to come up with these more intentional, thoughtful, purposeful, well-crafted content, as opposed to being reactive and just saying, oh my goodness, I haven't posted anything in like a week, I need to put something up there now. So content batching is going to help you avoid all of that. It's going to help you stay focused. It's going to keep you motivated, and it's going to help you produce even more high quality content, because it's going to give you the time to do this, as opposed to just posting something to say at the end of the day, you know, it wasn't my best post, but I got something up there. Because that's not what's going to help your business, just getting something up there. We want to be intentional. We want the content that we're going to be sharing to have a purpose, and it's going to have a call to action, and it's going to inspire somebody to take action. So we've got all of these things together when it comes to, you know, putting a cohesive plan together for a content strategy. Because when you have this content and when you have it created like this, especially if you're able to do content batching, what you need, you know, it allows you to have, you know, the specific times and dates and things that you can, that you're willing to post upon a schedule. But if something comes up, like a breaking news story or something that, you know, surprising within your industry shows up, and you don't want to, you know, be this person who's ignoring this major thing that's happening, it also gives you that time to be able to add in something new without, you know, just tearing your whole schedule and system apart. Because when it comes down to batching your content, you're basically following through these kinds of steps. Number one, you're gathering all your content ideas for the month. The second step, we narrow down our ideas to the ones that are going to be most relevant and timely and are connected with our goals and our product and our sales and what we're doing that month. The next thing we're going to do is, when we've narrowed down our ideas, we will take a headline. We will write a headline and make sure we're looking for SEO keywords to use in the title, or the alt tags that we're going to use for our images. Do that all at once when you're doing your headline. You are also going to create your SEO tags and in the title and headlines, especially like if you're doing H1 tags for blog posts, things like that. And then you draft your content, and I mean for each piece. So it's not like, you know, I'm writing content because you're writing a content for a blog post. You're writing a content when you're repurposing that information on Facebook. You're going to write content when you're repurposing that information for TikTok. You're going to write that content when you're repurposing that information, you know, that blog post onto LinkedIn. So there's all of this copy that has to be written. And then you can batch developing your images as well. That's like the fifth step. So you've got images involved with everything. So you've got your images that you're going to put on Instagram, or your images that you're going to use on LinkedIn, and then the images that go on the blog post. You know, all of those things combined is another thing that you're going to be batching. And then the sixth step is you'll review your copy and all of your image content, which would then lead to the seventh step of scheduling your content on social media. So those were just really 7 simple steps that I just listed. And all of those steps is something that you would definitely want to consider batching. So you're not just going to work on one blog post. You're going to work on the blog post. You're going to work on the repurposing content that you're going to be doing on the social platforms. You're going to also be working on how would you repurpose that content into an email newsletter. How would you repurpose that content, and are we creating a landing page for something? And so how does it transfer into that? So when we put all of these pieces and parts together and we work on them in batches like this, it allows us to see almost like the linear version of how we're moving people through their customer journey by seeing all of our content together like that, as opposed to just randomly reactively posting whenever something comes up. So that's a really important piece. But what I really want to focus on here a little bit more is the copy and the visuals, the images that we use, because those are going to be your top priority when it comes to content batching. Content batching can be a lot easier when we're just, going through lists of things and looking for topics. But the actual thing that's going to take most of your content batching time is when you are writing the copy and working on all of the visuals, as well as producing any videos that you have to do. All of that stuff can be batched together. And so what I want you to think about doing this is making sure that you have an enormous amount of organization. And I'm talking content calendar or some type of tracking system like a project management program, like Notion or Trello or something like that. You want to be able to have a clear view of everything that you need to work on, but you can also be able to move things around when you need to. So you'll be able to see this content was written, this image needs to be done, this needs to be. So you want to make sure that it's not just something in your head or a bunch of sticky notes that are on your desk, because at that point you are no longer being efficient with your time, and now you just added another layer of confusion and chaos into your world. So whilst you're getting all of this together, you want to make sure that you are organizing what it is that you're working on. And another great way to to avoid like spending hours and hours just creating content, is to set aside a specific hour or day in the week that you're going to be doing your content. Like, let's say, for example, when you're doing, you're planning out your week, you've got a few hours on Monday that you're going to create the visual content. Maybe you are going to be taking photos of something, your products. Maybe you're going to be working on creating images in Canva. So then on Tuesday, then you start drafting the copy that goes along with the images. And then maybe Wednesday, we review that copy and we make sure. So if we've got maybe the copy that we worked on Tuesday was a blog post. And then Wednesday, we think about how would we repurpose that blog post into social media. Would I then create a Facebook post? Would I create a LinkedIn post? Would I do like a little mini version of a reel? What am I gonna, if I pulled some of these sentences out there, I could turn this into a reel. I could voice it. I could, here, let me do this. And so what I'm saying is, instead of just trying to do everything all at once, I want you to think about how you can break this up into, hours of the day, days of the week, and just know going into your week that, I've got a little bit of, this is what I'm doing. I'm scheduling this in my planner and giving it the priority that you would to a client meeting. Because this is the thing, that when we actually make a priority out of our own marketing and our own strategy plans, that's when things get done. It's when we allow ourselves to just put our client work ahead of it, or put busy work ahead of the marketing that we need to do. That's that moment where we're like, well, I can't just be consistent. This is why this keeps happening to me. Well, I'm explaining to you how to make sure that you don't end the entire week at the end of the week going, wow, I just thought I had all this to do and nothing got done. Well, I want to make sure that you prioritize this. Put it in your schedule. Block it in, block it off. And so even if somebody was to say, can you get on a call with me? I'm sorry, I've got that time blocked off, but I can meet with you an hour or two later, or whatever, what your schedule looks like. But make it a priority, because that's one of the things that's going to happen with being consistent. You can do this content batching program and process set up all day long in your planner, but if you don't give it the priority and actually implement it, it's not going to get done. Because content batching is just a really great way to plan and produce high quality content. And if you really want your social media content and your blog posts and your TikTok videos and your Instagram reels and all of these things to be successful, it is important that you do keep sharing fresh, interesting, valuable content on a regular basis. And the process of planning this content, if you've never done this before, it can seem overwhelming. But let me just tell you, if you have these right tactics in place, if you've got a plan in place to understand how to break down the content batching steps that you need to do, it doesn't take up that much time, which actually means when you start to streamline this, because as human beings, that the more often that we do steps, the more frequently that we do things, the quicker that we do them. So when you first get started on it, it might take you 2 hours, and then 2 weeks later, it'll take you an hour. Next thing you know, you can knock this thing out in a half hour. So you start batching this stuff, and you start getting really good at it, and you start streamlining it, and it just means that there's more hours in your day to complete the other tasks that you want to do for your business. And I want you to think about it like this too. Don't put this pressure on yourself to post every single day on social media, whether you're batching your content or not. And I want you to also go into this too, understanding that life happens to us. And part of avoiding burnout is understanding that sometimes, some days, you're just not going to be able to get everything and anything up, and that's okay. But you know that you've got this plan in place. And so maybe not every single day is going to be perfect, but it sure does beat going through, weeks and weeks and weeks of thinking that you're going to be posting something and you can't get it done. So instead of doing these hours and hours of work every single week just to post something, just so you can say that you got something up, I would highly recommend that you consider moving through this process and understanding how to add content batching into your weekly planner, into your weekly step, your to-do list, the things that you do every week. Because even these small amounts will help you, give you the same effect of making sure that you are showing up online, that you have content ready to go, that it's intentional, it's purposeful, and it's going to help you reach more qualified customers with your marketing messaging, because you're going to actually be able to tell them why they should work with you. And so it's an amazing way for you to show up online, and an amazing way for you to get new clients, and for you to really expand the reach of your audience. Because here's the thing, when it comes right down to it, I get it. It's important to have this fresh and valuable content on a regular basis. But if you are not able to put a process in place, nothing will ever get done, especially if you don't give it a priority, because your business is a priority. Your goals are a priority too. So look to this content batching as an opportunity to make sure that not just you're reaching new clients, but you're giving your business the priority that it needs to grow. So thank you so much for joining me today on this creative journey. If you've enjoyed this content about creative content marketing, I hope you'll hit the share button, and let's keep this conversation going. And if you are just done with doing this on your own and have been looking for help with your marketing strategy, I would love to see you join us with the Create Your Business Group program. You're going to get personalized feedback on your marketing efforts, all your things like sales pages and launch email sequences, or even to help you with your content batching. All of these ideas and all of these things that you need help with, you're going to be able to participate in an online exchange with other like-minded business owners. And we're going to help you maintain a steady flow of engaging content so that you can show up on a regular basis and you can stay consistently. And you'll be able to stop working by yourself in a solo bubble and work in a collaborative space to get the help you need with your current content marketing efforts. You are magnificent, my friend, and let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.